Hello everybody, this is Manga Meditation here. I figured I'd make a tutorial on making some 3-chord aliens. Haven't done a tutorial in a while, but I figured maybe it can help some people. So, nonetheless, what we're going to attempt to do today is build some aliens. I'm going to use some all-nichrome 26 gauge and some 36 gauge. Now, basically what I'm going to start with, I'm going to just do the Clapton. And when I do it is counterclockwise, because I like to and prefer to wrap my aliens clockwise. It just works better for me. Whatever works for you is good enough there. So I'm going to have a quick vape, and then we'll get started. It helps too when you blow vapors on the wire. It helps this wire stick to it better. I'm just playing. But anyway, another thing I wanted to share with you before I get started is I'm using these beetle-ons to tame my spools. Got them off Amazon. I think 3 of them for like $7. One of the second best things that I got recently. So without further ado, what you can do is you can stretch out like 12 to 15 feet of this and then Clapton it, but I'm just going to use this, and this is just going to hang down while I use my fingers. So let's go over this. So I have a straightened piece of 26 gauge here, and I'm going to try to do at least 12 inches of Clapton on there prior. So I just wrap it around the 90 here, and then I just get my spool down here. I'm just going to get this started briefly. My wire's not centered. I want to make sure this is centered in the chuck as possible. Really makes the Clapton a lot tighter and the process a lot smoother. I've bent it all to hell. So what I do is I put this wire around my ring finger and then hold it here in my pinky. I grab this between my index and my thumb and just kind of hold the 26 gauge until I get it started, and then you can go as slow as you want, or you can eventually I just can go faster. Just want to make sure your Clapton's perfect. If not, you might want to just start over. Alright, so that should be about enough. What I'll do is cut this wire. I leave like an inch or two on the end. So what I do is I flip the drill the opposite direction, and I grab just the Clapton portion and allow the core to spin freely. And I go the opposite direction for a couple of seconds and then let off. And then I'll unwrap my wire from the 90. Or you can just cut it off, whatever you prefer to do. And then just take this between my fingers and it should slide right off the edge as long as your wire is cut nice and smooth. So the D chord Clapton. So next, what you're going to do is get 3 equal length pieces of 26 gauge for our cores for the aliens. So that looks about right. Now there's different methods to straighten out your wire. You can put it in the chuck of your drill, or you can do the way I'm going to do, which is to grab both sides of the 26 gauge with pairs of pliers and stretch it out until it lays flat. So just grab my 26 gauge on both ends. A little shaky. Only thing I've had was coffee this morning, so I haven't quite eaten yet. But we'll get to that. So I have it between both hands. I'm just going to stretch it. And that's 2 pieces. We need 1 more. All right. So now we have our 3 pieces of 26 gauge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and nip them all even on one side. And then what I'm going to do is make sure all 3 of these cords are parallel between my fingers. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I'm going to bend a 90-degree angle, and each one of these leads a different direction. And I keep the cords parallel, and then I'm going to stick them in the chuck of my drill. See if I can get a better shot, because I don't think I'm filming in a very clear position. So, but anyway, you see all 3 of these are parallel in between my fingers. And what I'm just going to do next is put them in between each tooth of the drill, of the chuck. Next time I'm going to eat before I film. That way I'm not as shaky. But I think you all get the point. It's not quite as easy to do with the camera all up in your face either. Shake, shake, shake. Fuck me. So now we have our 3 cords parallel. So what I'm going to do is change this camera view because it's getting on my nerves. So hopefully you can see a little bit better. Now we have our 3 pieces of 26 gauge. I'm going to cut the end down here, all these flush. Now I'm going to be using the method that I shared on Instagram the other day and actually on YouTube as well. Is I use these little cord stop locks. And all I'm going to do is slide it on these cords before I hook them to my spin LT. I'm just going to slide this down for now and get it out the way. We'll pause this real quick, change the camera. Okay, so now I'm back. I'm just going to show you real quick how I attach my cords to my spin LT. It's the same thing as whether you're using swivels in a vise or whatnot. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure all 3 of my cords are parallel still. And what I like to do is continue to run my fingers down and make sure it's straight. And they're all parallel, and then I'll put them through a loop. Hold tension up while I fold my cords over. And what I'll do is just give it a couple wraps around these other wires while holding tension on the swivel or latch, whatever you want to call it. So, oops, a little bend in it. It'll be okay. Straighten her out. Make sure I'm going clockwise. All my cords look about straight. I'll switch the view again. So what I'm going to do now is take my D-cord Clapton. As you see, I have my cords all parallel in here, and you have your 90s. The way I'm going to stretch this, I'm not going to fully stretch it. I guess it's kind of the no stretch method. I don't know. I call it a little bit of stretched method. So basically, I'm just going to wrap this around my 90s that are here in the chuck. You can wrap it around more than one if you want. I find one works fairly well. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the other end of this D-cord Clapton and I'm going to stretch it off camera because I don't feel like changing the camera again. So actually I just grabbed the end here. So where the wire, I left a little bit of lead on it. Grab it as close as I can to the D-cord Clapton and I'm going to stretch it as straight as possible until I achieve what I am going for here. Okay, so I don't know if you can really see that, but it's about what it looks like. See, a little bit better of a camera angle. So basically all I'm going to do now is make sure all my cords are still aligned, which they look to be, and make my little cord lock here. Hold it tight. Yeah, I know my videos aren't the best, but when you work balling on a budget, bro, you do what you can. Alright, I guess it's just going to have to stay here straddling my drill. It's a pain in the ass, but... So just make sure you're in a comfortable position before you start. And your wire's not going to get snagged on anything.